Hi guys, welcome back. My name is Craig from iProgress and I'm here today with some more tips about how you can maximize your productivity as a PhD student. Okay, so today I want to talk to you about a way that you can retain information and use it in a way that is really efficient. I use this method myself when I'm writing papers, and it's called the read, write and cite method. Now, the first thing you need to do when you're thinking about developing a body of knowledge is to just read the literature. You need to be engaged with that area of research so that you know what's going on, you know what the recent developments are. The key thing here though is don't feel like you need to use these things instantaneously. Don't feel like you need to take the reading that you're doing and put it straight into a document or straight into your thesis or straight into a paper. What you can do is you can start to make brief notes on this paper that you're reading or the book chapter that you're reading, and then store those notes to one side. The next thing you need to do is to think about summarizing that knowledge. So think about how you can distill all of that knowledge into maybe a blog post or a 500-word summary of a particular area of research. What you're doing when you're doing this is thinking about how there are links between different areas of research, different studies that you've read, different authors that you've read about. If you're doing this well, then what you're doing is you're starting to develop your voice, you're starting to develop your way of thinking about a particular area. You're developing an argument. And remember, what you're doing in your thesis is hopefully developing an argument that is building towards a rationale for your work, and then throughout that thesis building up a more comprehensive picture of what's going on in your area of study. Now, the important thing here is don't feel like you need to cite things straight away. Now, one thing that I see a lot of when I'm looking at PhD student work is that they'll quite often write a piece of work, they'll write a narrative, but then they'll pause every time there's somewhere that a citation is required. So they might make a particular point within an argument or within a paragraph, and they'll feel like there's a point that is needed to be supported by some evidence, and that's good. There is always scope to include references and citations within your work. However, the important thing for you to consider is that you don't need to put those things in as you're writing the work. What you should be doing is to develop your narrative first. Write down what it is that you want the reader to take from your writing. Once you've done that, go back and add in the references at a later date. So as you're writing, you might say something where you think that there's a citation needed. Just put in brackets ref, so you know that there's a reference that's required, and carry on with the rest of the narrative. That's the right part of your read, write, cite process. The third part, obviously, is where you add your citations. Now, this is where having really good reference management software, really good reference management processes comes in really important. Now, if you can have a reference management software, we recommend Zotero as a kind of open source, open access, relatively straightforward piece of kit to use. If you have your papers, your reading all organized really nicely in Zotero with really good keywords, what you can do once you've finished your writing is go through and find all the instances where you've got bracket, ref, close bracket, and see what the point is that you're making at that particular place in your argument. You can then open up your reference software, your Zotero plugin for Microsoft Word if that's what you're using. You can search within your library for key terms, keywords, and add in the references that you need in that particular place at the right point in time in the right format. Now, things like Zotero will give you the option to change the formatting style, the referencing style. So it might be that for one piece of work you need to use APA style, for another piece of work you need to use Chicago, for another you need to use Harvard. It's just a simple click of a button with a software like Zotero. So do make sure you're using something like that, because it makes that citation element of the read, write, cite process really easy to do. So what you're doing is you're reading first, you're developing a sense of knowledge, a sense of expertise in your area of research. You're then writing down what you know. You're thinking about what's the argument that you want to put across. So write that down, make sure that you're putting placeholders in for where references will sit, and then once you've got that whole narrative down, you know that the argument flows well, go back in after that and cite your papers. Now, hopefully this has been really useful for you. We use this a lot when we're writing papers because it just makes the process of writing easier and quicker, importantly. You don't have to spend so much time in the moment as you're writing finding references to support the points you're making. Just write the argument down and the references can be done all in one go using your reference management software. So if you found this value in this, please drop us a like and a subscribe on the channel and let us know what your favourite techniques are for efficiently writing your thesis. I'll see you again in the next video.